From the time you were young, you were taught that being nice was the way to be loved. You were told to smile, to agree, to please, to soften your edges so that others would accept you. And for years, you believed that was enough. You believed that kindness alone could make someone desire you. But deep inside, you have noticed something disturbing. The more you gave, the less you were valued. The more you were available, the more they drifted away. The more you tried to prove yourself through patience and sweetness, the colder their presence became. Carl Jung's psychology explains why. Attraction does not live in comfort. Attraction is born in polarity, in mystery, in tension. What is too easily given loses its power. What demands nothing loses its pull. When you play too nice, you remove the very element that makes attraction magnetic. The shadow. The shadow is everything you were told not to be. It is the fire you suppressed, the anger you buried, the confidence you were warned was dangerous. It is your ability to say no, to withdraw, to hold your own energy without apology. And it is this shadow that makes you irresistible. Without it, your kindness is incomplete. Without it, your love feels flat. Think of the moments that marked you most. It was never the times when someone simply agreed with you. It was the moments when someone's presence shook you, when their silence made you wonder, when their confidence made you feel both safe and on edge. That intensity is the essence of attraction, and it never comes from being only nice. When Jung spoke about individuation, he spoke about becoming whole, not half, not only light, not only softness. Wholeness means owning both your warmth and your darkness, your giving and your withholding, your love and your boundaries. To deny half of yourself is to deny the depth of your own magnetism. This is why you can spend years being kind and still feel invisible. This is why someone who barely speaks to you can hold your attention more than the one who gives you everything. The unconscious does not crave safety alone. It craves expansion. It craves energy that disrupts and awakens. Playing nice gives safety but not expansion. Desire dies where there is no tension. Look at nature. Lightning strikes before the rain. Thunder shakes the ground before calm returns. Fire clears the forest before new growth begins. Attraction works in the same rhythm. Without shadow, without edge, without polarity, there is no ignition. And without ignition, there is no attraction. You still try to convince yourself that if you just give a little more, he will see your worth. If you just wait a little longer, he will notice your devotion. But devotion without mystery is invisible, and giving without boundaries is swallowed whole by the unconscious of the other. What is abundant loses value. What is scarce is desired. This is not manipulation. It is psychology. Jung revealed that what is repressed becomes projected, and what is denied becomes sought. When you deny your shadow, you project it outward. You chase people who seem strong, mysterious, powerful, because those are the parts of yourself you have not yet embraced. And as long as you reject your own fire, you will bow before theirs. The cost of always being nice is not only that others lose interest. The cost is that you lose yourself. You forget your own voice. You silence your own hunger. You dilute your own energy until you become a ghost in your own story. That is why you feel exhausted. That is why you feel unseen. That is why attraction fades around you. Jung's darkest lessons on attraction are not comfortable. They are not polite. They do not tell you to smile more or give more or wait longer. They tell you to reclaim the parts of yourself that scare you, to use your silence as power, to stop chasing and start embodying, to realize that love without polarity is not love, it is dependency. Attraction begins when you step into your wholeness, when you allow both kindness and confidence, both patience and refusal, both softness and fire, when you stop begging to be chosen and start choosing yourself. That shift is what awakens the unconscious in another. That is what makes someone feel your presence long after you leave the room. The truth is, being too nice is not love. It is fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of abandonment. Fear of not being enough unless you are endlessly giving. But fear cannot create desire. Fear only creates need. And need is the opposite of attraction. You are not here to be tolerated. You are not here to be taken for granted. You are here to be felt. And no one feels what demands nothing. No one remembers what asks for nothing. If you want to be unforgettable, you must stop playing nice. Think about the times when someone captured your attention without effort. It was not because they were endlessly available. It was because they carried presence. They did not rush to please you. They did not hand you their soul on a silver plate. They allowed space, silence, and mystery to surround them. That space gave your unconscious room to project, to imagine, to long for more. Jung believed that the unconscious is drawn to what feels incomplete, to what feels unresolved. That is why attraction is not born from perfection, but from tension. When you are too nice, too giving, too predictable, you remove all tension. There is nothing left for the unconscious to reach toward. There is no polarity to spark desire. And so, the lesson is harsh. The more you erase your edges, the more invisible you become. The more you deny your own shadow, the more you starve attraction itself. Desire does not live in constant comfort. Desire thrives in uncertainty. It needs a rhythm of closeness and distance, warmth and coolness, words and silence. Without rhythm, it dies. You think you are being loving when you overextend yourself. But love without strength is dependency. Love without mystery is friendship. Love without polarity is not love at all. It is an arrangement. Attraction demands the courage to risk being misunderstood, to risk being too much, to risk holding back when you want to give everything. That is where power lies. So when you feel yourself playing nice again, pause, ask, am I doing this from love or from fear? Fear will make you invisible. Love, when rooted in wholeness, will make you unforgettable. Jung's darkest lesson is simple. Only when you stop playing nice do others begin to feel your true power. Before we continue, if you have ever wondered why being too nice drains your power and kills attraction, the Jung method can help. It reveals the hidden patterns of love, desire, and the unconscious forces shaping them. The link is pinned in the first comment. The real danger of playing nice is not simply that others lose interest. The deeper danger is that you lose contact with your own soul. Each time you silence your truth to maintain harmony, you cut yourself off from your own shadow. Each time you give more than you want to give, you teach your unconscious that your needs are not worthy. And each time you bend so that others will stay, you train yourself to believe that you are only lovable when you disappear. This is why attraction dies. Because attraction is not created through disappearing. It is created when someone feels the wholeness of your being. Jung's darkest lessons remind us that desire thrives in presence, in power, in authenticity. When you are too nice, you trade authenticity for approval. You trade power for acceptance. You trade attraction for safety. And the unconscious feels the loss instantly. Think of the people who left the strongest mark on you. They were not always the ones who were the kindest or the most patient. They were the ones whose presence demanded something from you. They held their ground. They carried an energy that made you pay attention. They were not afraid to withhold, to say no, to step back. And because of that, you leaned closer. Attraction does not flow toward what is endlessly available. It flows toward what holds energy with confidence. This is why silence can be louder than words, why absence can be heavier than presence, why mystery can pull stronger than clarity. These are not games. They are archetypal truths about the psyche. Jung explained that the unconscious projects what we deny. If you deny your strength, you will worship it in others. If you deny your shadow, you will chase men who embody it. If you deny your own fire, you will fall for those who burn you. This is why playing nice is so dangerous. It turns your unlived power into someone else's magnetism, and then you wonder why they hold all the attraction while you feel empty. But the truth is simple. What you admire in them is what you have buried in yourself. What makes them magnetic is the very part of you you have been taught to hide. That is why Jung said the shadow, once integrated, becomes a source of renewal and strength. When you embrace your darker energy, your power to withhold, your willingness to say no, your refusal to beg, you stop chasing attraction and start becoming it. So the lesson is not to harden your heart or to manipulate. The lesson is to stop shrinking, stop playing small, stop playing nice when what your soul wants is to be real. The moment you do, you reclaim your polarity. You embody both the softness that nurtures and the fire that awakens. And that combination is irresistible. Attraction is not about pleasing, it is about presence. Not about giving everything, but about giving what is real. And until you embody that truth, you will keep wondering why your kindness goes unnoticed. The answer is not that kindness is wrong, but that kindness without strength is incomplete. So remember Jung's darkest lesson. Light without shadow cannot attract. Only when you allow your whole self, your warmth and your fire, your love and your refusal, will others truly feel you. And when they do, you will never need to play nice again. Asterisk, when you stop playing nice, something inside of you wakes up. You realize that attraction has less to do with what you give and more to do with what you embody. You can give endlessly and still not be chosen. But the moment you stand in your own energy, you shift the entire field. People feel it when you no longer beg for space but take it. They feel it when you no longer apologize for being too much but let your fullness radiate without permission. Jung taught that the unconscious is always seeking balance. When you show only light, the unconscious looks for shadow. When you are only soft, it looks for strength. When you are only giving, it looks for boundaries. This is why attraction fades when you erase your edges. Without polarity, there is no tension. Without tension, there is no magnetism. Think about music. A song without pauses, without silence, without rhythm, is noise. What makes music powerful is not constant sound, but contrast. Notes and pauses, rises and falls, tension and release. Your presence works the same way. If you are always present, always giving, always agreeable, you create monotony. Desire cannot breathe in monotony. Desire needs rhythm. And so, the darkest lesson is this: you must be willing to hold back. You must be willing to let silence speak. You must be willing to risk not being liked in order to be truly felt. Because what people remember is not who pleased them most, but who made their soul tremble. Jung believed that every relationship is a projection. You are not only seeing the other person, you are seeing yourself in them. When you admire their strength, it is because you have denied your own. When you crave their mystery, it is because you have silenced yours. When you feel powerless around them, it is because you have abandoned your own fire. This is why playing nice creates imbalance. You give away the very qualities that create attraction. You hand them your power and then wonder why they do not respect you. But how can they respect what you refuse to own? Respect begins with presence. Attraction begins with wholeness. Consider the archetype of the lover. The lover is not only tender, not only sweet. The lover is also wild, unpredictable, filled with energy that cannot be controlled. That is why the lover archetype is magnetic, because it awakens something primal in us. If you cut off your shadow, you cut off your own archetypal power. You become half, and half can never hold attraction. To integrate the shadow does not mean to become cruel or manipulative. It means to stop abandoning yourself in the name of harmony. It means to let your no be as sacred as your yes. It means to carry silence without fear, to let absence speak, to let mystery breathe. These are not games, they are expressions of your wholeness. And wholeness is what makes people unable to forget you. The world teaches you to play nice because it is easier to control someone who is always agreeable. But Jung's psychology invites you to step out of that prison, to realize that being liked is not the same as being desired, to see that approval is not the same as respect, to understand that love without polarity is not love at all, but dependency, disguised as devotion. So the next time you feel the urge to explain, to justify, to overgive, pause. Remember that what makes you magnetic is not the amount you pour into others, but the energy you hold within yourself. Remember that silence is not emptiness, but space for the unconscious to work its power. Remember that boundaries are not rejection, but the lines that protect your fire. Jung's darkest lesson on attraction is not that you must become hard or cold, it is that you must become whole. To stop choosing between being light or shadow, softness or strength, love or power. To hold both in your being, without apology. That is what makes you unforgettable. And when you embody this truth, you stop chasing, you stop begging, you stop waiting, you begin to radiate presence. And presence does not need to convince. Presence does not need to prove. Presence is felt, deeply and unconsciously. That is where attraction lives.